How y'all doing? I'm going to talk to you today about young black males. Now, I've been thinking about this video for a long time, and I just kind of got around to summarizing what I really want to say instead of going through this long, drawn-out video. But I'm talking about black males between the ages of 12 and 45. They cannot and will not think 10 minutes into the future. And now, okay, I'll give them 15 minutes. Okay, I'll say young black males cannot and will not think 15 minutes into the future, which is not very much time either. But they just don't think. This whole generation, I would say from 12 to 45, cannot think, 10 minutes into the future. You know how we used to supposed to have long-term goals and short-term goals. Short-term goals, 1 to 5 years, and a long-term goal. What do you want to be doing in 10 years or so? What do you want to be doing down the line? Now, I had a 1-year plan. It turned out 4 years because there were distractions, but at least I had a framework. You got to give God something to work with. At least I had a framework, okay? I'm talking about this particular generation. I'll go back to the previous generation. 12 to 45 years old cannot and will not think 10 minutes into the future. Like, what's going to be the consequence if I do this? What's going to happen to me if I do this? What's going to happen to my family if I do this? I know that the bigger problem is that a lot of these black females are not raising sons to think about the consequences. I know that. Maybe if they have a father in the picture, maybe he's not raising them to think. But a lot of these men, most likely they're going to be 70%. Most likely they're going to be raised by stupid black females who don't know how to think. Who are not teaching their sons how to think into the future. What's the consequences if I do this? For example, a 13-year-old brings a gun to school and goes shoots his favorite teacher dead. Now, he's not thinking at all. He's not even thinking at all. Like, maybe I shouldn't even have this gun in the first place, or maybe I should turn it in to police. Die. Okay, so he goes in and shoots his favorite teacher dead. Okay, and he's still in jail. I think he got life, tried as an adult. Another example, 19-year-old. He sees an old lady in her 70s. She's out there doing some yard work or whatever. And so when her back is turned, he goes into her house and hides in her house. And when she comes back in, he beats her up. She fights back, of course. And he was trying to rob her and so on and so forth. And so he's going to go to jail. He's 19 years old. He's going to go to jail for malicious wounding. Now, if she dies, that is going to be upgraded to murder, first-degree murder. So he's going to go to jail for malicious wounding and robbery, home burglary. And if she dies, it's going to be upgraded to first-degree murder and burglary. Okay? So he's facing at least a 20-year prison term for home burglary and malicious wounding. So he will be 40 years or more before he even gets out. And he's 19. Okay, so he will be 40 years old when he gets out. The world will be so changed he won't even recognize the world. Okay, half his friends will be dead. His parents may be dead. Who knows? Okay. Now, the third case, an 18-year-old, he was 16 at the time. He decides to go and carjack this particular person. So he shoots this other young black man who's in his 30s, shoots him dead, and he carjacks the car. Now, what my question is, where is he going to take the car? Is he going to carjack it to Jackson, Mississippi to go to the Dollar Tree? Is he going to go to the Dollar Tree in Lance, Michigan? Where is he going to take the car? He carjacked the car, shot the person dead who owned the car, and he's going to take the car where? Do you know? I don't know either. But, okay, he was 16 when it happened. He's 18 now. He's going to get tried for first-degree murder and carjacking. That will probably be a total of 45 years in jail. He will be 63 years old before he gets out. I will be long gone. Okay, 45 years in jail. And you know what? He'll probably spend the whole 45 years. He's going to be a cotton picking old man before he gets out of jail, if he gets out of jail. Okay? See, he's not thinking even 10 minutes into the future. Well, maybe I don't need to carjack anybody. Maybe I need just to go to the library. And the 19-year-old who robbed the old lady and beat her up, he's not thinking either. One, he go to vocational school and get a skill or something instead of coming to some old lady's house and beating her up. Okay, he's not thinking 5 or 10 minutes into the future. Okay, another young man, 18 years old, first graduated high school. Okay, drug charges, 18 years old. Get out, more drug charges at 25, 27 years old. So he went straight from the school to prison pipeline. He's not even thinking 5 minutes into the future, okay? He's not thinking 10, 15 minutes into the future. He's not even thinking 5 minutes into the future. He was raised by a very dumb mother, I can tell you that. Because he went straight from school to prison. Okay, that's a really dumb mother who raised him, okay? But he's not even thinking 10 minutes into the future. Like, why don't I do something with my life instead of go having drug charges or something? Okay. Now, this happened recently, okay? This young man, person A was going to a convenience store at night. He was walking. Person A was walking from this convenience store. He was buying whatever. So this other young man decides to rob him. So he says, give it up. But unbeknownst to him is that the person who's coming out of the convenience store, person A, he has a gun. Okay? So instead of being robbed, the person A just shoots him right in the head, and that's it. He just shoots that young person in the head right between the eyes. Dead, gone to hell. Now, see, that's a young black man who absolutely cannot think 10 minutes into the future. If he had thought, he would have said, you know what? Now, he had a gun too. It's just that this person A outsmarted him. He also had a gun. But see, that's the chance you take when you rob somebody. You may have a gun, but see, the other person may have a gun too. So this person A had a gun. And this person A outsmarted him and shot him right between the eyes, and so he's dead, gone to hell. See, that's a young black man who does not even think 10 minutes into the future. Why didn't he say, you know what, I don't need to rob this person that's coming out of this convenience store. What am I going to get, $5 or $10? Because who cares? Who even carries money on them? Okay, what am I going to get out of $5 or $10? No. Why didn't he say, look, you know what, I'm going to leave him alone. I'm going to go home. Because it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm just going to cotton pick and go home. He didn't say that. He just said, okay, give it up. The guy, he pointed a gun at him. The guy outsmarted him, shot him right between the eyes. Instant death. Now, see, if he had just ignored that guy, if he had just ignored person A, he'd be alive today. He'd be alive to tell a tale. Now, see, these young black males between the ages of 12 and 45, they're just not thinking. They don't think 5, 10 minutes into the future. They just don't. A lot of them are raised by mothers who do not teach them how to think, do not teach them to think. Some of them are raised by fathers, but majority of them are raised by stupid mothers. But, I have to admit, these men are not unusual. I mean, in my generation, I can't even tell you how many stupid black males I met. They just the stupidest bunch of I can't even tell you how many. I mean, even from ages about 16 to 27, I cannot even tell you how many stupid black males I met. They raised by stupid parents. Look, if a black male is trash, If a black male is, let's say, 16, 17, 18, and he's trash, what does that really mean? That means he was raised by trash. Trash begets trash. You cannot get beauty out of trash. So what does that mean? His parents were trash. That's really what that means. If he's somewhere between 16 and 20, not 16 and 19, 16 and 20, and he's trash, he's garbage, what does that mean? His parents were garbage. You cannot get something out of nothing. You cannot get beauty out of trash. Trash begets trash. So that means his parents were garbage. He was garbage. His parents were garbage. That's really what that means. Because you cannot get something out of nothing. Trash begets trash. Garbage begets garbage. You cannot get a nice, gentlemanly black male if his parents not like that. If he's trash and acts like trash and looks like trash and smells like trash, what does that mean? He's just mimicking his parents. His parents act like trash, smell like trash, etc. That's really what that means. But I met in my young life a lot of black males who couldn't think. So this is not a new phenomenon. But however, I do think that it's more pronounced in this generation because what you have added to this generation is guns and gangs and all that. And you take like a lot of black males, they may be 30, but they got a 9-year-old mentality. They still 9 years old. Some of them still 5 years old. 5 years old mentality, even though they're in their 30s, okay? So, but I know this is not a new phenomenon. I used to be fresh. I used to talk with my mother about it when I was a teenager and a young adult. Why do black men act this way? Why are they so immature? Why do they act this way? And there's just no answer. But you know what? This is not a new thing. It's just like when I was a teenager, there was this corner from this small town, and a whole bunch of black guys just be on the corner. In the spring and summer, it's like 15 to 30 black guys on this corner. They're all unemployed and all non-void, okay? And they were, all ugly, okay? Now, see, you would never see Asian men just gathering by a corner and just doing nothing. You would see Asian men working all the time. But in the spring and summer, be like 15 to 20, 30 black guys on this corner. In the wintertime, it would dwindle down to about 10. But they were always there on that corner. And they were all unemployed, non-void. They were not doing nothing. I mean, probably a girl worked more than they worked. They just weren't doing nothing, just on the corner doing, gossiping about this and gossiping about that. They would. So I think this whole phenomenon of not thinking 10 minutes into the future, 15 minutes into the future is nothing new. I know of 3 young men, and they all are doing well, but see, they were raised by parents who were thinking people. Like I said, I know of three young men. They were raised by parents who were thinking people, but majority of black males just aren't thinking. Why? Because they're raised by women who don't think. Sometimes they're raised by fathers who don't think. And you know what? We got to, you got to stop this. You got to do better. You got to start teaching your sons how to think longer than 10 minutes into the future. What's the consequences if I go beat up an old lady? What's the consequence if I go carjack somebody? Okay? It's just like that young man who was 16, shot into a house, shot about 30 bullets into a house and killed one little girl. See, that's a black man who cannot think at all. That's a young black man. He was 16. He shot about 30 bullets into a house, and he ended up killing a 9-year-old girl. That's a black man who cannot think at all. Cannot think 5 minutes into the future, 5 seconds into the future. Like, maybe I shouldn't do this. There's too many kids in there. Maybe an old lady in there. Okay, he's not thinking at all. What's the deal there? That's a woman who raised a black man to not be able to think at all. Okay, he cannot even think Forget 10 minutes and 15 minutes into the future. You can't even think 15 seconds, okay? But I hope we turn this thing around. You got to train your sons to think. Think things through. Think about the consequences. However, I'm a realistic person. I'm a realist. I don't think that's going to happen soon. But look, it's good to point it out. Have a nice day.